Yes, we are live. Hi,
Hello.
everyone. Yes, good morning to all, to Joybrata as well. How are we
Good
feeling
morning. Good
today?
morning. Feeling good. I mean, I'm in office on a Saturday, so
Oh,
could have felt better, but
yes,
no, I think yeah,
of
there
course.
is there are a couple of meetings lined up. So yeah,
Got it. Where are you joining from?
I'm joining from my office in TBWA Lintas,
Okay.
Mumbai.
Yeah.
Uh, so I work for TBWA Lintas. Our office is in Mumbai, in BKC
Got
area.
it. Yeah.
So
How's the weather and everything?
really bad. I mean, it's one of those years where you really, really hope the rains, the monsoons come quick. We've been waiting for a really long time. I think
Yes.
it's either probably it's not as hot as it was last week, or we have just got used to it. I think one of the two has happened.
Correct.
But
Correct.
I have never visited the IMD website as many times as I have in the last few days to really
Fair.
see when
Fair.
the monsoons are arriving. So I
So,
think yeah,
yeah, I mean, but then luckily, this week Kolkata got some rain. So yesterday and day before yesterday, we got some rain. So the temperature has kind of gone down a little bit, but again, it's
yeah,
up on the
yeah.
rise.
No, I mean because my sister and a lot of my relatives they live in Kolkata, so they have been telling me they have been like, कि, "अरे, and I mean I think there has been load shedding and all also. I think there's some power
Yes,
cuts
yes, yes.
and all
Yeah,
of that has been
correct.
happening. So yeah, there's a bit of good, there's a bit of bad that's been happening. I guess.
Yes, yes. But now, touch wood that we got some rain and hoping Mumbai also gets the
Yeah, yeah,
monsoon that it's known for.
really
Yeah.
hoping that monsoons begin quick.
So true, so true. We have some people joining us. I would love for them to kind of drop in a comment if they can hear both me and Joybruto. We're really excited to get started. But yes, we'll just take one
I
or
cannot
two.
see their comments or anything, right? I mean, on this
No, you
interface, but
can. Actually, you can. They will pop up.
okay, okay.
And I can also kind of try to show you or like read it out for you in case you don't. So yeah.
Yeah, I've shared the link with a lot of my friends as well, who might just drop by to unsettle things, to roast me, to pass on a few funny jokes. So yeah, I mean, that might also happen.
Great, great. Thanks for the disclaimer.
What else are
I
friends for?
Yeah, no, no, that would be great to kind of see a little bit fun happening. And because anyway, this topic that we're going to talk about, it's a lot to talk about topic, but still valuable. But yeah, if we get some other perspectives, other jokes and rants, happy to kind of take them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's one of the most relevant topics to be honest, because
Very true.
it's like you cannot escape this kind of a conversation. You
Correct, correct.
cannot. We are living in times where you cannot not know how to use an AI tool. Matlab, it's become like the basic. You know how when you like since the invention of copywriting probably and when hiring in advertising agencies would have begun, like the most basic to hire a writer would have been कि उसे लिखना आता है
Yes,
or like at least the language that he or she is writing in would be the grammar would be the basic key if he or she is writing in English or Hindi or Bangla or whichever language, so at least grammatically that person will be sound. AI tool has become almost that basic a thing that doesn't matter if you're a writer, doesn't matter if you're an art director or a planning account planning or a brand management person,
yeah.
you have to know how to use at least an AI tool which helps you in your work.
Correct. Very, very, very true. I think that's a very good point to get started as well. I see people have shared that they can see us, they are excited for this, and your friends have also joined. So yeah,
Any way to block them? No.
no, let's rather have them here because at this point at least they are encouraging you. They are saying all the best and
Oh,
all of
okay,
this.
great. It's a good start then.
Yes, yes. So I'll just take this moment to kind of welcome everyone back to the Writers Room, which is the podcast section of the Writers Studio. And it's a space where we explore ideas, stories, and people, most importantly, shaping the future of creativity, communication, and culture. And now, with AI becoming a part of almost every creative workflow, right? One question seems to be on everyone's mind that if machines can generate words or artificial intelligence for that matter can generate words, what makes human creativity truly valuable? And that's exactly what we are going to dive into today. And joining us is someone who has spent nearly 2 decades in the business of ideas. So, from starting his journey as a copywriter to becoming executive creative director at Mulilo Lintas, he's helped shape campaigns, creative strategies, and brand narratives that have connected with millions of people. And I fair to say he has also kind of seen the uh, starting and growing and booming of different kinds of algorithms, trends, machines, and AI at this moment when it is at its peak. So he's worked at across agencies like Ogilvy and Scarecrow Communications, and building a career around one thing that AI still struggles to replicate. That is understanding people. So Joybrata, welcome to the Writers' Room.
Thank you
It's
so much.
wonderful to
And
have
thank
you
you for the
with
lovely
us.
introduction.
It's my pleasure. So, yeah, Joy, I would love to kind of start with a question that's on the minds of writers, marketers, and traders everywhere. Right. In a world where everyone has access to the same AI tools, let's say
Absolutely.
with some exception being like how much token you can purchase,
Yes.
or maybe some premium tools here and there, but most of us have access to the basic AI tools, right? What do you think becomes the real competitive advantage for writers and creatives?
See, I think, as you rightly said, that everyone has access to the AI tool. So, I mean, it's
Correct.
almost most democrat. It's like democratized right now.
Yeah.
So, if you, me, everyone has the AI tool, then it seems like everyone should have the same output. But then the
Correct.
output is different. Because, see, that is where the taste comes in. First thing is
Yes.
taste. I'll put in a
Yes.
prompt, it can generate 100 images, but which one do I pick? That is where a creative person's taste comes into picture.
Correct.
Secondly, the art of writing a prompt as well. I cannot, if I am not well read, if I have not seen the world, if I
Hmm.
don't know, it's almost I create the visual in my head first, I create a
Correct.
script in my head first, and then I give a prompt so that I use AI as a tool just for the execution.
Yeah.
So I don't think so. If we AI as of now at least is a tool where uh, it is it just helps you in the execution bit because until you know exactly how to craft the prompt, you can simply write show me give me an image of a Indian woman shopping,
Correct.
then you further refine it. You know exactly what kind of, like, if you want, say, in Janpath in Delhi, or if you want Linking Road Bandra, where do you want, like, or say Goriahat Road. So
Yeah.
wherever you want, you have to put in those nuances, and you exactly then know that AI will keep generating images. It is you who pick that, oh, you know what, this one doesn't look real, this one doesn't look accurate, this one doesn't look nice. This is very common, I've seen this before. So then comes the individual's taste and the individual's sharpness in putting in that prompt.
Correct. Very true.
So,
Very
yeah, so I think because that's what the difference has been. Because I am like, I think most advertising people, we have access to a lot of the tools. The difference, however, is coming out. You can see the difference between how a very senior art director versus a junior art director. The difference on the output of images, and the
correct.
difference comes from the experience, the exposure, and what a person would know more about the world, the taste of that person, as I rightly said. So that is always going to be the difference. That difference, because AI will banks on cliches. AI
Yeah.
will not give you something that's very unique until your prompt is something very unique.
Yeah.
So I
Got it.
think
Got it, got it. I think when you were talking about it, one thing, two things rather came to my mind. One being that we say that, AI is like an input machine, AI takes your input, but we forget the most important part is that we are also now a part of that input machine where my input is the first step and then it goes to AI. So who you are and what do you think and what is your taste, I think that matters the most. And the second thing is that how we have been brought up and told that hey, you are unique. Everybody can go to the same school, right? Everybody can go to the same school, they can do the same they can go to the same tuitions, right? But what you kind of get out of it, right, it depends on you.
correct, correct,
So these are the things that I was thinking, and very rightly said that taste is the only differentiator at this moment,
correct, correct.
right?
Taste, and
So
of course, see, it's not just the taste. It is again, it depends on that prompt also.
Correct,
uh,
correct. Yeah.
I, as I said, how like the clarity in the prompt, like what I exactly want. So as I said that it's not like I'm asking AI for an answer. It's almost like I have a certain answer in my head. I'm using AI for the execution bit of it.
Correct.
So I
Got it.
think that is something which is a differentiator, because as a tool,
Yes.
as we discussed, it's there for everyone.
Very true. That's interesting because while tools can democratize execution, and you rightly use the word democratize, they don't necessarily democratize thinking, which kind of brings me to my next question. The best ideas often come from lived experiences, failures, observations, and even contradictions within ourselves.
Hmm.
Um, Hate to ask this in this kind of tone, but can AI ever replicate that kind of creative depth?
Uh, See, as you again, it's we when we sit down to write a film or to create a visual, any sort of a visual, there's a lot of insight that we put into it. So AI, gives you the most logical answers when you ask AI a question. When you ask AI to give a visual, AI will come up with something which is the most logical, beautiful looking image, the grammar, visual grammar of the image, the finesse, everything will be great. But I think what human, as people, as creative people, what we do, like in Mumbai advertising, there is this term called wakra, which
Yeah.
is somewhere something quirky, something, like crazy, lateral, some illogical. So these things, AI can never do anything. AI cannot come up with an idea that's, say, Wakra. Even if you put in the prompt that give me some crazy, quirky idea, and when you read out the ideas, you'll be like, yeah, these are so basic. So
Yeah.
I think the fact that human mind can think lateral, illogical, we don't always try to put logic in every piece of creative. Sometimes it is about we are having fun creating something, and then we don't question the logic a lot of in a lot of cases. So I
Yeah.
think that is something that AI cannot replicate. So even when if you talk about depth, a lot of AI's depth comes from all. See, at the end, AI is getting all its information from like scanning, say the millions and trillions of documents, stories, interviews, bytes, case studies, everything online. But an individual experience of going through something, if it's happy, it can be happiness, it can be sadness, grief, anything. It's the experience that you go through that AI can never replicate. AI can give you poems on sadness, but they will all look very cliched, very generic. It can never be so personal where a poet, when writing a poem, it will never reach that level. So it always gets stuck at a certain superficial level. Like it's even the deepest thing that will write for a artist, for a poet, it will still seem like a very superficial thing. So I don't think it can, and almost sometimes it has happened that to get the poem out of AI, the prompt that you write is actually far more beautiful than the output that AI gives you. So,
Okay.
because when the prompt you're writing, you're actually sharing your lived experiences. You're saying that, I want a poem on a person who is going through this. This is what this person is experiencing. That prompt is a lot more personal. That prompt is something the writer has felt. So that now based on that, when AI generates something, AI is not going to generate from the writer's life. AI generates from whatever the information has been fed or whatever is there on the internet. So I think it never really has surprised me so far with a certain depth. Like wow, like what a even in a depth of or any visual or a visual that's so surprising. Like I have never, or even the art team in the office has never been surprised by a visual. It's almost like I had put in the prompt, so I expect that to be the visual. So
Correct.
the surprise factor has not been there. And when it comes to creativity, there always has to be a bit of hint of surprise or that pleasant thing that you were not ready for this, or you were like someone has said something so deep that wow, yeah, I was not ready for this conversation will go this way, and that is where what I think AI is yet to replicate or might probably not be able to replicate.
Not be able to replicate. Very, very rightly said because I think what you're trying to say here is that the surprise factor comes from humans, because
Correct.
humans surprise each other because our experiences, our expectations, or our journey is so unique to each other that once, let's say, I start my journey, you would be like, oh, acha, this has happened to you. But an AI that is trained on millions and millions of same materials, right? The materials that it is getting is same, right? So it has no scope of kind of creating that surprise element. So I think what we can take away from this particular question or this particular answer that you have said is that, one, you have to bring in the surprise element, and second is that you can't say that, okay, whatever I've got, that's the final thing. You either have to make it better or give it your own touch. So that's a very fair viewpoint that you've brought out, and kind of leads to the thing that I have been thinking lately, is that perhaps the bigger challenge isn't AI replacing writers. uh, it's writers slowly outsourcing their curiosity, right? So there's a lot of debate around AI replacing writers, but is the bigger risk actually writers becoming so reliant on AI that they stop observing people, culture, and the world around them? What you actually said, that what makes a human unique, or you and I unique, right? So how do you see these two scenarios kind of playing out?
I like how you said reliant and not lazy. Uh,
Yes.
no, I think uh, the it's what how am I using the AI tool? At the end, that is what is important. Am I using the AI tool to do my job, do what I am supposed to do, or am I using the AI tool to do more than what I am supposed to do?
Hmm.
So AI tool should allow me to do more.
Correct.
AI tool should not, I should not use it ki I have to write a script, so I'm using the AI tool to write a script. No, that is not the way. It's still my job.
Hmm.
You need to use the tool to write, do a lot more. Like when it's like any tool in the world. It has to allow you to do more, so that you have a lot of time. Like, for example, if I was dependent on someone for research, if I was dependent for someone to create certain kind of visuals, because
Yeah.
I don't know how to use Photoshop or Illustrator or InDesign tool, what
Hmm.
right now I can do is that I am not dependent on, say, that many factors, and I'm creating this
Yeah.
entire thing on my own.
Yeah.
But at the same time, my basic job that I'm supposed to do, that I am doing.
Hmm.
What it is saving me on is the time that I had to wait for someone else to give a research, or to wait for a certain research to come up, or certain information to be shared, or a certain execution time that takes. So if I'm using it as a tool that helps me do more, then I think I'm not relying on it, or it is not going to take away my job tomorrow, or
Yeah.
at least I'm not being lazy. That is, I think, and see, when it comes to, as again, because we were discussing prompts in the previous
Hmm.
questions,
Hmm. Hmm. Correct.
if a writer or a designer's insights are going to come from us, like looking at a screen and looking at AI, and not from the real world, then there is a problem. Like I think someone once said that if uh, if all your ideas are going to come from a screen and not from looking out of a window, then
Yeah.
I think there is a huge problem, and then I think you are doing a great disservice to the creative field or the creative job on the whole.
True, true. I think that's an advice or a takeaway everybody should take from whoever is hearing you. And on that note, I would like to ask you, like, you definitely said that what people shouldn't do, or what young writers shouldn't do. And since most of our audiences are budding writers, creators, I would love to know if you have any process or like idea or some sort of advice to give them, that what should they do instead. Because what has happened is that while people were graduating in, let's say, 2023, 2024, they started with the boom of AI, right? So they don't know anything pre-AI, which like craftsmen like you, who would know, like, because you can clearly tell the difference, that how you use AI, how you don't use AI, rather you are having to adapt to AI. But people who graduated or who are starting their career right now, they are not having to adapt, they're starting with AI, right? So they can probably misuse it, not knowing also, right? And then it becomes like an AI slop. Do you have any advice for them, like how should the process be like for them of using AI, of using their craft or honing their craft?
See what individuality. See what happens is if everyone uses the same prompt, then the
Yeah.
individuality goes. Every individual, like I think earlier you had said that we grew up in school when our parents, teachers said that every individual is unique.
Unique,
The
yeah.
uniqueness should not be lost. Like if
Okay.
your ideas, there has to be a certain reflection of your ideas. Like for example, there's so many people in my office who are crazy anime fans, and you know from their ideas, their analogies, their reference points, everything comes from anime. That is their individuality. There will be
Yeah.
someone else who's a cricket fan who will tomorrow come up with a lot of reference points of cricket and everything. You know how this happens in cricket, this happens in real life.
Yeah.
Their almost the colloquialness, the slangs that they use will be
Yeah.
very either anime or cricket sort of thing. So this is an individuality which, uh, so if a person decides to compromise on that just to use AI, then that person is doing a disservice to them on their own self. So my advice would be that be yourself and use AI only as a tool to execute the idea to save on time. But be the person who cracks the idea. Use AI to do your research. Use AI to gather all the information in the world because AI will give you all the information in the world. But then with that information, sit and think about how do you want to, how is it your idea? How are you going to own this idea?
Yeah.
Because you can take pride in an idea only when you own the idea, when you have come up with it. So the ownership of an idea comes that, you know what, I have gathered all the information, but this is me, this is my personality, and this is the twist I want to bring in the story. This
Correct.
is like, you know, it's like you can have, for example, Romeo and Juliet as a story has been adapted by so many directors, so many different ways. But every director would have given his or her vision to that story.
Yeah.
So I think that is the individuality that a writer or any sort of a creative person should not miss out on.
Correct.
You be like, how do you see the story? If you had to tell the story, if you had to tell a Romeo and Juliet story, you would say it very differently from I. So imagine this AI tool has given you the Romeo and Juliet story. Now it is up to you how you want to say the story. So I think the become like be that person who is uh, like, it's like what is the human side which we decided that you can be illogical, you have you have your own traumas which will come out in conversations. There will be certain conversations, certain subjects which will be way more personal to you than others. So it cannot be that all 10 subjects given to you will
Yeah.
take it that personally. There will be certain subjects which are way more personal than the others. So, you know, always embrace that side of you. So become a person who is not shying away to even, you know, delving deep inside to come up with an idea, and then using AI as a tool to say expand the idea that, you know what, I have this script, I have this, but this is a situation, but now give me 10 other situations where a similar incident can happen. Maybe you use it in that way, but the
Yeah.
core, the crux of the idea has to come from you. So become, every individual is like a book of, or like a क्या बोलते हैं, Pandora's box of insights. So
Yeah.
stay that person. That AI and Google cannot tell what you already know through life. So remain honest to those ideas, those insights, and I think that's I think the advice, or that's possibly the way to
Correct.
approach how they want to go ahead in this journey.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much because that's even helpful to me as well, especially because I think it's not a lot of rocket science here. It's very true to, it's just as simple as it, that's straight true to your humanity, who you are as a human, what your quirks are. And if you just stay in touch with those sides of it, I think it becomes easier. And if you kind of stop renting out your brain to AI, it also becomes easier, hopefully. And since we are on young talent and what young people should do, I also wanted to know that you have also spent years building and leading creative teams, right? Which gives you a unique perspective on talent. Have you hired, have you ever hired someone not because they were the best writer in the room, but because of how they thought, what stood out? if you have any examples to share with us from your experiences.
No, absolutely. You always hire basis how good that person can ideate. Because I am not hiring like an operator. I am not hiring any a tool. Right.
Yeah.
I am hiring a person who tomorrow in a brainstorming session should come up with ideas.
Hmm.
That will make work easy. Work is
Correct.
not going to be easy if I have to think of all the ideas and the team just executes the ideas. So a great team comes when 10 of us sit together and you get 10 unique ideas. Not one person says the ideas and then the 10 get to executing the ideas. So that will never, that's never that is not an ideal team. So I think, yeah, and not just me, I think every senior creative person in this industry would hire for the ideas, for how creative a person is, the potential. And if I'm hiring a copywriter, the basic is, of course, writing.
Yeah.
Or, it's something like if writing will come from training. So if I see a potential that, what this person has thoda wo lateral thinking, thoda illogical, rational, wakada sort of a thinking, as you say,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
then I feel this person will bring new ideas to the table at least. Or, if I have been working on a brand since 8 years, and, after working on, say, certain brands on 8 years, you feel like कि थोड़े fresh ideas चाहिए. And if
Yes.
this person can bring those, then the craft, the writing bit of it, I can guide that person, or other people in the team can guide that person. So with training, that will happen. That will anyways in a given 6 months or 1 year, that will happen. But bringing to table those ideas, that cannot happen in 3 months of training or 6 months. That a person, it's almost like there within that person, or that person already comes to the interview with being that person. So on any
Correct.
given day, it's a more creative ideating person than just pure writing skill or design skill.
I love that because it suggests that the great writing is often the outcome of great thinking. Because writing is like your ABCD. It is like a part of your blood, right? But how you think and what his personality is what kind of differentiates you and even gets you hired. So people who are listening to us and have tuned in, well, great for you. I think you can keep being yourself. I know it gets very cliche. We keep saying that keep being yourself, keep thinking differently, but I think that's what is getting celebrated here. For my final question, we have bunch of questions from the comments. A lot of people have asked us. For my final question, I wanted to kind of ask. You have said definitely that a lot of young writers are entering the industry at at a moment where I have said where AI can generate headlines, scripts, articles, and all of those things. Uh, but you know, what's the difference between writing that wins awards and writing that changes behavior? Because winning award is again, I think, a part of business, but writing that changes behavior of your consumers, right, is something that ultimately probably a writer takes pride in. Ultimately, so what is the difference between writing that wins awards and writing that changes behavior?
See, and I think it's, for example, say the common audience.
Yeah.
My mom, my dad, they probably wouldn't know which campaigns are one can or DNAD or anything, or even a Curious or Abby's or
Yeah.
anything of that. But they will remember ads.
Yes.
So I think the most basic is, are you trying to be creative for 20 people in a room, the jurors, or are you trying to be so true and creating a concept, creating a campaign that is so relatable that even people who have nothing to do with the advertising industry remembers your campaign, remembers a line. It becomes a part of a daily slang. It becomes
Correct.
a part of a campaign like what an idea surgery when it happened.
Yes.
What an idea surgery came. It's part of lingo now.
Yeah.
It is. It's one of those like we use it in our everyday conversations and all. It came out of a campaign.
Yes.
Uh, so I think it is about that being. I mean, I don't. To be very honest, I don't know if how many awards that campaign has won, and at what all level. And to be really as of today, no one would bother asking it because everyone knows that campaign. Everyone uses the line of that campaign.
Yeah.
So I think even say a Tata Tea campaign like Jagore and all. It is,
Yes.
again, it doesn't matter how many awards or what it has won. The fact that everyone remembers that line, the fact that
Hmm.
everyone has, I mean, maybe inspired in a been inspired in a certain way, is what is important about that campaign. So,
Yeah.
changing, when it comes to changing behavior, you have to not think of winning awards, rather you have to think of the people you are doing this for. It is a more true idea rather than a more creative or a more wacky or a more crazy idea. It is about an idea that's a lot more, has a lot more truth and insight, talks about the people you're writing it for, comes from
Yeah.
their daily life, comes from their insights. So I think that that is possibly the kind of writing, that is the possibly the kind of campaigns that can change behaviors. So, and versus say just doing something, because I mean this year of course Can has become a lot more strict on judging.
Yeah.
Because they have been asking for, give me this research, give me this data, that data, and all of that. I
Yeah.
think, and it is a very important thing, because a lot of times when you see a lot of campaigns that win Can or win international awards, you understand that it has been created for an award. Some ideas were created for awards, and some ideas people have actually lived. People
Hmm.
were like, you ask that, this idea won an award, and a lot of people who have nothing to do with advertising will never have even heard of an idea like that. But if people have heard of an idea, तो आई मीन जैसे वो कितने साल पहले का दो बूंद जिंदगी के हैं, वो आज भी
Yeah.
मतलब यू थिंक ऑफ पोलियो, यू थिंक ऑफ लाइक डजंट मैटर उसके बाद वो कौन सा कैंपेन आया है, कितने कैंपेन्स आए पोलियो पे, बट
Huh.
दैट लाइन यू डोंट forget. So it is
Correct.
because it is a very simple line, it is a truth, and it is the most, like, in the most sharpest way a truth has been delivered to the audience. So that's why people don't remember it for what a crazy line or what a wacky or what a creative line. They remember it for, I'll never forget polio drops. So no parent will ever forget कि बच्चों को polio drops के लिए लेके जाना. So I think
Yes.
that is the kind of writing, that is the kind of creative that you need for behavior change versus winning awards.
Amazingly said. Amazingly said. I think what I understood from this is that because the people who are you are writing for, they are your audience, and audience is the king for you. Of course, content is king, but it's actually getting served to the audience. If you keep them as the center and do everything that you're doing, all about your craft, I think that is what at the end matters. Definitely, maybe awards come as part of that as a byproduct, but
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, what changes people's behavior, and if they remember you or your craft after, no matter how many decades have passed, that's what the real award is probably. So yeah, that's a lovely kind of
Exactly. That's
yeah.
true. That's true.
Yes, yes. And we have bunch of questions and people who want to know your opinions. I'm going to show it to you
Sorry,
on the
sorry.
stage. Let me know if you can see that.
Can
Yes.
you hear me now?
So yes, I can hear you. All clear.
Sorry, one second, one second, one second. I think.
Yeah, no problem.
Can you hear me, Kankona?
Yeah, I can hear you.
For some reason, I cannot hear you. Give me a second.
Okay. Yeah. Hi. Hello.
Sorry, I don't know what just happened. Something in my
You can check your speaker.
one. Give me a second. 1 minute. I'll just probably.
Let's just give Joy a bit of moment until he figures out. These are literally parts and parcels of a live conversation. Things that could have been edited out. But yeah, that this is the perk, pro and con of having a live conversation.
Sorry about that.
No problem. Lovely
I
that I
think there
can
was
hear you. Can you hear?
something wrong with the network. Sorry.
Can you hear?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
Lovely, lovely. Thank God, because I was like, this is such a great conversation we are having. I wouldn't want to kind of miss out on this. Yeah.
So yeah, we were going through the comment section of the
Yes.
questions, I
Yes.
think. Yes.
Absolutely. Can you see the comments?
I can't for some reason. Can you like read it out if possible?
Oh, yeah, sure. So, yeah. So, Nikita asks that some writers are also becoming too independent on AI nowadays and losing their ability to think, judge, and ask better questions. What is your take on this? I think you've already covered this, but yeah, if you could just say it in like a few words or
Yeah,
something.
I think it is. I mean, if you lose your individuality, see, you have to become indispensable, and your quality of indispensable cannot be how good you are with AI or
Yes.
how many tools have you paid for annually. Your indispensability comes from like how good a creative you are, what is the uniqueness that you can bring, and if you're always dependent on AI, then
Yeah.
there is nothing unique about you anymore. And
Correct.
tomorrow, as people say, if not AI, someone else will replace you because you are pretty dispensable. I mean, you are giving me what someone else is also giving me. So that I think you have to not lose your individuality. You have to understand what you bring to the table, and what you
Yeah.
bring to the table should not be that I am very good with AI. What you bring to the table is that your understanding of certain briefs, your understanding of brands, of people, and your individual stories.
Absolutely. Very rightly said. Um, I think the next question is Soha, who is asking that AI is also generating ads and it is also creating video ads. Is this slowly becoming a challenge for the ad filmmaking industry?
Well, unfortunately, it is true. It is generating ads. I mean, recently, I mean, we my the organization I work for, we did a close-up ad, a different team, of course, but they did a close-up ad, and the entire ad was created on AI. But now, but still, there was a director, there was music
Hmm.
director, there was because what it, of course, there is a lot of loss if you make it on AI, but you still need a director to understand what is the kind of expression. You still need a stylist to understand what are the clothes each character in this will wear. You still like from like the kind of, is this makeup too fake, is this makeup too real. So individually, a lot of times what AI does is, of course, uh, I mean, there are a lot of films being made on AI, yes, but some of them will still stand out. Some of them will be different from the others. And the pure reason is that how many people can know how to make AI, like be patient enough, use it as many prompts, as many rounds as needed, so that you get the correct expressions. So that part, the creativity or getting the final output will still be
Yeah.
important, will still be needed.
Yeah.
So yes, it's true. It is. If a lot of brands are making, and see, when you look at Instagram, when you're scrolling, there are so many brands today. A lot of T-shirt brands, for example, a lot of
Hmm.
apparel brands I have seen. Their entire reels are made like ads, which are reels. They are made on AI. They look AI. They
Yeah.
look fake, and uh, obviously it's, you know, that it's like even the T-shirt is, you. I mean, you'll have this problems understanding even if this T-shirt, the quality that's being shown in this ad, is it real or not. So
Correct.
I think that is the important, that I think will not lose its time. That will remain.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
The
again,
quality of
humans.
output and everything. Yeah.
Yes, yes, and because again, humans are also very clever to kind of figure out. Rather, rather audiences are very clever to figure out what's AI, what's not AI. Everybody has they can understand no matter how good the prompt is. So yeah, I think even if it is there, art directors, creators, they are also going to be relevant, right?
Mhm. That
Yes.
is true. That is true. I think what is changing, and with time what we'll see changes the roles being changing. A director
Correct.
will still be a director, but is he
Yeah.
going to be on, is he or she going to be on set, or is she or going to be in a studio in front of screens with with a bunch of prompts or anything. The importance of the director will not change. The importance of a lyricist will not change. Importance of a music director will not change. So I think, but saying that, the truth also is that a lot will change. Um, a team of 10,000 can be shortened to a team of 100 or 1,000. So that's a lot of jobs being lost. That's a lot of course, that thing will happen. But I think individual, like even I've seen now production houses, a lot of production houses, they have started their own AI verticals. So it is not, instead of fighting this cause, instead of fighting that, you know what, I mean, we will still make ads in this, they have started a AI wing where they are actually delivering. It's the same production houses now delivering films on AI. It is, again, advertising, creative, all this industry, it is how quick are you to adapt. If you adapt, only then you'll be relevant. So I
Yes.
think we all, everyone in this industry, we have to know how quick we should adapt so that we are relevant.
Absolutely, very true. As the saying goes, that change is the only constant. So as we keep changing ourselves according to the changing times, I think we are going to land somewhere fine. It's all going to be fine. Yeah. The next question is that yeah. What do you think? What are those experiences that every aspiring copywriter should have before entering advertising?
There is no experience that you should have. I mean, it is the experiences that you have any which ways.
Yes.
Uh, it is how good are you an observer and how good are you at translating that observation into articulation. That is where the thing is. I mean, it's not like everyone has to go through pain, break a heartbreaks. There is no format or there is no mandate as such. If we are living in the real world, we are having experiences every day.
Yeah.
Now it is up to you how what you choose to say that, you know what, today has been a day of zero experiences, or you think about your entire day and, you know what, I was traveling in the local train and I heard this mother and daughter talking and this is what they were arguing about, or I saw two people fighting and this is what they were fighting about. So experiences are, you have your experiences. What you call experience is up to you. If
Yeah.
you mute the world, then you'll never have an experience. So
Yes.
be a good listener, be a good observer, and then the skill is about what you've seen and heard throughout the day. How do you translate that into a script or a visual that you're trying to create?
Very true. Even I personally follow this like is in a way that you become almost very present. So one thing that I've learned to do is that becoming very present to my world where I am currently, right? So not losing out or zoning out. Yeah, that happens, but becoming more present helps, and then becoming a sponge also helps a lot. That you are kind of taking it all in from whatever is happening around you, right? And then ultimately how do you extraction also matters, because the same experiences you and I can have, but the way we extract and the way we put it out together will be different. So yeah, that's a very good advice to kind of, not advice, but a good thing to keep in mind, I think. So yeah, the
Correct.
last question that we have is, today it's about traditional writing versus AI writers. Don't you think already a war amongst the writers has already begun? Because today's writers don't even know how to understand a brand.
See, I think that's generalizing an entire generation, I feel. That's not entirely true. I think a writer, when a person, it is about uh, when someone joins an advertising industry, when someone joins the industry, a lot
Yeah.
of responsibility is with the seniors, the senior creative people, the senior brand people, to train this young writer or this young art director to not just be creative, but to understand what a brand really means, what the brand he or she is working on really means. Because it is not like कि just creative काम करते रहो, creative काम करते रहो. At the end, you are in advertising. You are doing it for a different kinds of audience. You could be working on an like, say, an apparel brand to, say, a tea brand to, say, a tourism brand, and they will have all very different sets of audience. So understanding what every brand needs, the kind of language, that is something. It's not something people already enter the advertising industry knowing. It's something that they have to be trained with. They have to be trained for. So
Okay.
it's okay if someone joins an industry without knowing what brand is and all. That's absolutely fine. It is the journey in the industry that he or she will learn what a brand is, and that's how an individual grows in this industry. So
Thank you so much for saying that actually, because as a young person myself, also I keep hearing it a lot that you don't know this, you are lazy, you are always reliant on AI and all of those things, which is fair. This generation has its own, I would say, shortcomings, as like every generation. But the fact that you also mentioned, I think this is the first time somebody mentioned on this podcast, is that the seniors also have some sort of responsibility towards creating this budding professionals into flowers that bloom, so something like that I was thinking. So thank you actually for saying that it's responsibility for both seniors and
yes,
juniors. What I learned from you, let's say as a junior, and how you teach me from your experiences and how the industry works, is actually probably going to pass the legacy on. So it's not just one generation kind of blaming the other that, hey, seniors are
correct.
like this and this new generation is like this. It's for both of us, for both the
Correct.
generations, for both the parties to take responsibility and learn from each other, and like whatever you learn and you teach. So yeah, that's a really good thing that you said. I'm very grateful that you said that. um and that was such a lovely conversation, so valuable perspective. Thank you, Joy, for
Thank you, Kankana,
thank you
for
so
having
much
me
for
on this podcast.
Thank you so much for joining and sharing your thoughts so generously. I think one of the biggest takeaways from this conversation is that while AI may change how we create, it doesn't replace the human experiences, observations, empathy, and judgment that make creativity meaningful in the first place. To everyone listening, thank you for tuning in another episode of the Writers Room. I'm always amazed to see such bright folks. We are at the end of the session, but like episode, but there are still 10 people joining us live on a Saturday morning. So that's like a huge takeaway for me as well. If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to follow, share, and join us again as we continue exploring the future of writing, creativity, and communication. And I once again want to thank everybody who commented, and especially to Joy and his friends who kind of motivated us to keep going. Thank you so much, Joy, for taking some time out
Thank you
from
for having me.
such a busy schedule and tuning in and sharing your valuable experiences. So until next time, keep observing, keep questioning, and keep creating. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, and best of luck to you and your team.
Thank you so much. We'll just end the stream. Yeah.
Sure,
Bye
sure.
bye.
Bye
Yeah.
bye.